Have you always dreamt of becoming a racing driver or turning passion into something real? At Scorpio Esports and RaceGen, we exist to make that journey possible. Backed by Scorpio Motorsport, a real racing team with 26 years of experience, we develop talent from sim to circuit. Just like Jason Kasman, who is now stepping into GV4. This is more than esports. This is a pathway. Join us today.
So, we have ourselves 2 rounds to go. We have a championship fight between 2 drivers, and neither of them are here today in Long Beach, which means that we guarantee a championship finale. That's the easy part of the question. The point, though, here is, how do you shuffle the deck chairs? How do you set yourself up for a circuit that challenges the very best in the world time and time again? Welcome to your Formula B Super Formula Series here on iRacing and SimSpeed TV. My name's Jake Sperry. Cam Dance is alongside with me for running here. And Cam, this is potentially the toughest roadblock left on the calendar. And for these drivers who want to go and challenge here, they know they have to survive this to get their points haul heading to Interlagos in 7 days.
Yeah, absolutely. The streets of Long Beach do not take favourites, and they do not be nice to drivers, technically. So it's going to be all about making sure you don't hit that concrete, you don't look at that concrete, and you don't get anywhere near it. Well, you try to get near it so you can go faster, but the idea is don't touch it and don't get near the concrete unless you want to have your race run, because it's very quickly to get in very badly if you do.
Down by Los Angeles and a little bit further downtown past Compton and all the way down to the port of Long Beach, we head ourselves, and a circuit that has seen many a revision out there, but one thing has remained the same over the course of its run, the likes then of the brilliant sections of circuit out there, from the fabled fountain section and the run through, which is now known as the Bubba Gump Fountain Club, and over towards the likes of turn 6, 7 and 8, and then that very tight hairpin that ends the lap outright, turn 11 onto Shoreline Drive, to go and get the finish sorted. This, Cam, is a circuit that at just a shade under 2 miles is one that gives itself the name of iRacing's Monaco.
Yeah, it certainly does, with just how tight and twisty and technical it can be in some sections, especially through that fountain section where you're literally brushing your tires with the concrete just to maximize the amount of track you've got. It's a hectic place to race, and it is actually quite enjoyable. I do like my street circuits, and it's one I can never stop driving around.
And it's going to be one where I think that you have to understand to play within the limits of what you have to go and get the results you need here at this track. So let's talk ourselves through championship standings, because these are the iRacing standings as they work. Timothy Fries-Larsen in control ahead of James Byrne, with Chris Rosenkrantz in third with a golden opportunity to get some more points. Dan Jiang fourth and Kevin Foster fifth, with JT Smeaton and Luis Kachan then at 6th and 7th, as Victor Awad is 600 points back in 8th ahead of Dennis Branch and Valerio Fagundes Tavares making up then that top 10 as they go. But let's flick it over into the SimSpeed standings. This is for the races that you see here. No Timothy Fries-Larsen, no Kevin Foster. So for Chris Rosenkrantz and Dan Jiang, this is the battle for third in the championship that we will keep our main focus on. There are drivers like Ben Ford here today. We've got drivers like Victor Awad and Valerio Fagundes Tavares So they are going to want to try and get their best results in to say they are going to be the challengers. 20 points on offer for a win, plus 3 if you get pole position, 2 points for second, 1 point for third out there in qualifying, as is the point scoring when Super Formula runs. But Cam, this is going to be a tough one here. 30 laps around this place, 17 instant points are out there. Don't worry about instant points, worry about the car.
Yeah, absolutely. 30 laps around here is a very, very busy day, and it's a very, very hard day as well. It's hard doing 10 and 5 laps, let alone 30 laps, especially in these very, very fast and physical cars. So it's going to be all about making sure you're prepared for this race and making sure you've done enough laps that you're actually going to be able to hang on to the car, because it's going to be very easy to have a very slight lapse in concentration, end up in that wall or make a mistake or have something go awry for your race.
And also worth talking about is the OTS, the Overtake System that is available for these drivers. They get 200 seconds worth of it over the course of the race, but they have 100 seconds worth of cool-off, so you can't just spam the button over and over and over. And the light shall tell you what everyone has. If it's solid green, it's available to you. Slow and blinking, you're in read time. Fast red blinking, you're down under 20 seconds worth. And of course, drivers have to switch the button on and off to go and get the overtake system working properly. So with that in mind, let's head ourselves down into qualifying right now, where they have 8 minutes and 2 laps available. And there are drivers out there who are looking to try and push and say, this is what we can do. For the moment, Royan Senaire there is setting himself up for his attempt out there. Currently down on that third, or hasn't set a lap yet, but pushing hard then past the aquarium into turn 5 and making the run back over then to the TK turn at turn 6. Not much time to breathe around this place, but up and over the crest you'll have to go for the very tough turn 8, which is the Yamava turn.
Getting close to the wall each and every time is Royan at the moment, coming down the back straight now towards the final sector of the circuit. That gets really, really tight here, using as much of the inside curb as you can, get right out to the outside wall and use all the inside curb here. Make sure you don't unsettle the car before you set the hairpin up nicely, getting right up on the inside curb, maybe a little bit too tight of a line there and cost himself, but he's come out the other side nice and clean, and he's going to set himself a lap time.
Yeah. And that first time is a 105.2, which is good enough to go to 6th position, just behind Thiago Spencer, who is the quickest. There is Nikita Kozhikov, who runs over the line in 14th, 1.4 seconds adrift with a 106 flat out there. Chris Rosenkrantz, now a driver who desperately wants to try and challenge, had a great chance at Suzuka to make it work, broke away early but couldn't manage the gap. What's this going to be over the line? 5-2 of his own regard, only good enough though for 7th position then behind Royan Senaire, and will have more to do in order to get this all and sorted. We're going to catch a replay then here, so let's take a little look. This is the number 19 of Pablo Paniagua, then trying to set up his lap, and through the final corner, oopsie daisy. Not much you can do about that. A 4.9 from Royan Senaire, good enough for third. Can't beat Lucas Hand and Ben Ford to it, who have themselves in position. Kozhikov crosses the line and goes 6th on a 105.1. Can be very happy in the track temperatures that we see, 33 degrees that the second lap has fired up. But this is the threat right now, down right now in 9th place. This is going, or 8th place, Chris Rosenkrantz, 6/10 off, crosses the line, 104.7, front row cam. Well, that's going to be tough to go and deal with there, but Paniagua will be the last car there. We'll get to Cam in just a moment's time, but wow, that is a huge qualifying as far as it goes. Still, there is chance, though, with 29 seconds left in the mock-up McLaren. It's Arsene Kardanov who now looks to try and get this one over. Can he find something that just upsets the apple cart, gets him up inside a little bit further? That lap won't count for Cardinov, so he won't be able to get there, and that's qualified complete. So we'll take a chance to look through the starting grid here from Long Beach, and this will be how the race sets itself in time. So with the clock setting itself in place, the number 7 of Lucas Hand in control with Chris Rosenkrantz alongside for company. It will then sit with Ben Ford and Roy Ansonair in 3rd and 4th. Luis Kachan is there in 5th with Miguel Facardo making up your top 3 rows. The 18 of Nikita Kozhikov starts 7th with Thiago Spencer 8th. Arsen Kardinov then has Valerio Fagundes Tavares then in 10th. Denis Merentsov is in 11th with Philippe Silva then in 12th position. It will then follow on with Artur Kazimierski and Robin Krennicki there, the Pole and the Czechian, then 13th and 14th with Benjamin David and Victor Awad on row 8. Philip Lucas is then at 17th, with the final positions being Pablo Paniagua and Dan Jiang. Unable to set a time in qualifying, is now going to have a chance to now set up from the back of the field. Scary place to be, Cam, back of the field at a race of Long Beach.
Yeah, that's the last place you want to be in a field of drivers you're not exactly 100% sure on what some of them are like. So, yeah, that's probably not going to be too ideal, and he's going to want to hope that nothing happens in front of him. But I'm sure he'll be able to come through quite nicely and put himself in a nice position to get some points.
Points will be everything. He knows he sacrificed a couple out there because he won't be able to get much more out there. So I think that is going to be a very, very tough ordeal out there for the likes of Dan Jiang. But I would look around this order. Rosenkrantz in a good position. Best qualifying we've seen from Lucas Hand, his first pole of the season. And can the Jigglypuff that is on the front of his car find a way over to victory out there at this stage? You've got the likes there of the mock-up old Vodafone McLaren there, of Ben Ford, who won the round in Super Formula in the British Sim Racing Cup. You've got Luis Kachan, who can make moves, and this might be a case of who survives out there as they look to set themselves up. They know the run to the Acura turn is going to be critical. Lights on then here at Long Beach. 30 laps are on the clock. Green flag is in the air, and we're underway. A tough start there for Hand, and Rosenkrantz immediately sweeps on through. So too in that regard, Roy Ansonair, he got a lovely launch as he's going to make his way over to the Acura turn. Rosenkrantz has it covered on the inside and will sweep on through. Top 5 clear into the O'Reilly's turn, and the Bubba Gump Fun Club out there. And now as they work through, they try and find a lane, tiptoe as much as you can. Everybody cleanly through.
Yeah, everybody cleanly through. Spencer and Tavares went too wide through the fountain section. Someone's lost the front wing by the looks of it.
I think it's Dan Jiang, and it is Dan Jiang who's lost the front wing out there, and he has done that by running straight up the back of Philippe Silva.
Yeah, a bit of a check up there from what looks like it was actually caused by the too wide through the fountain section as well. So not ideal for Dan Jiang, and that's put a mend on his race, unfortunately.
Not what was ideal. Rosenkrantz, Sonair, Hand, your top 3 with Ford, Kachan, Facardo and Kozhikov, your top 7 as they look to pivot through the hairpin here. Turn 11 that leads on, and everybody is just trying to find some space in that rear of group as they go through. Jiang into pits then after that opening lap completes, and now settle yourself on in and give yourself as much room as you can. So there is Lucas Hand. Now he's going to have to try and find a way to fight back, and the question is going to be, how useful is the OTS system around here? On board, this is the Dan Jiang look. He got a mile down the inside at the Acura turn.
Yeah, did an absolute fantastic job to get up the inside of a lot of guys, and then you just see the massive check-up, unexpected, straight into the back of the car in front of him, unfortunately, and bye-bye goes the front wing.
Simple as that. That's how quickly this race can go from hero to zero. Oh, speaking of which, they're at the back, Philip Lucas. They're in troubles then. The driver there from Austria just overcooking it into the corner, trying to recover back with more rotation, and ultimately the balance there just completely goes askew.
You hit the overtake system on there as well, and that's one thing around this track that, as you said before, how advantageous is it, because with all these bumps and all these little curves and everything that you've got to deal with, it really is going to make it hard to get the power down with all that extra horsepower you've got going on. So it's certainly going to be a matter of using it at the right times and making sure you're not putting yourself in a situation where you're going to be doing something like that.
Very close, almost too close there to the wall for Lucas Hahn. He is really pushing, and the LH40 Ford, I guess we're going to have to call this one out there for Ben Ford, is going to be all about pushing, and that's how close to the wall that they go as they pass the convention centre, which on days in IndyCar turns into the Dan Gurney Media Centre around here. They'll work themselves through into turn 10 and over for turn 11, which sets up that final corner, looks for the drive off the exit and says, right, now's our chance to start really pushing and running forward with this one into the laps and giving yourself as much momentum and rhythm as you possibly can. There are changes going on further back, as there is Arsen Kardanov in 8th, and critically Artur Kazimierski losing out a place. He's lost it to Benjamin David, who's now moved up to +2.
Nice little overtake there from Benjamin to get that job done at the hairpin. Got up the inside, actually, luckily, with the fact that he ran wide, did Artur, and managed to get the drive up the corner quite good.
There's Dan Jiang, 11.1 seconds in the box. It was enough to say that that is going to be as tough as nails for him. That's pretty much written his race off, unless there's retirements. Kardanov, again getting close with the wall. You're going to see a lot of that. He's fighting with Nikita Koshikov for position. Kardanov then, light flashing, indicating it's being used, and so too is Koshikov, who sees there. He's just glanced the wall out of 9. You've got to be so careful of it, and now trying to go around the outside is going to make it work. Can you cut back up and under? Still using, trying to get there, but the amount of torque going through the rear wheels basically spun it up.
Yeah, that didn't help Kardanov at all, and that's cost him a chance at turn 1. So Koshikov safe for another lap, but he's got to avoid those walls because he's got very, very close on the exit of the back straight, and then he's got to just make sure that he's not holding himself up too much with the battle behind.
Yeah, it's all about that hold up, which I think is going to be the important thing. Look how much it is off camber as you work through turn 5 past the aquarium. It is very much a case of one line suits through there, and even then sometimes that's not enough.
Yeah, absolutely is, and it's something you've just got to play with, and you've just got to really make sure that you're being cautious and making sure that you're not overdriving too much here.
Yeah, and that is going to be very much key. It's going to be a case of how do they push through with the engine mapping. It's almost an extra system out there. It's not a battery system, it's not a hybrid system out there or a curve system. It's an engine map that gives the horsepower change out there that says, whoop, this is what we go to. It's basically saying take the restrictor plates off and go absolutely to the walls to try and attack. Kardanov then looking behind us. That is the number 1 car behind of Thiago Spencer, who's trying to work his way on through orange car versus orange car as they now push through turn 4, leaving the Bubblegum Fountain Club behind, and Spencer trying to find a way to go and get that time in that place, but not necessarily getting it all unlocked at the moment, getting stuck in and getting a lot of wheel spin and corrections having to be done out through the TK turn.
It's looking very, very hard at the moment as Spencer trying to get this position off Kardanov, but it's just not quite working. It's just not quite got enough. A little bit of extra at the moment that he needs to try and find, so but he's going to keep pushing on, and it's looking like the position might come eventually, but he might have to wait a little bit. I'll tell you what, the cars in front of them are getting very close to the wall. Nikita looking very squirrely, has looked not very comfortable for the last couple of laps, so it might be cause for concern that there might be a shunt at some point.
Yeah, they will be looking at that, hoping that there isn't going to be anything that really puts it untoward. Once again through the O'Reilly's turn and into the Bubblegum Fountain Club here at turn 4 and over towards turn number 5. Arsene Kardanov then is the focus at the moment of this mega pack, which sits behind Miguel Picardo there in the 6th position, who is doing a very, very good job of keeping this one as steady as you go, as everyone just knows how much they have to push. Kozhikov glancing the wall this time, has to be alert to it. And speaking of alertness right now, Royan Sener and Lucas Hahn, it's Hahn that's starting to get closer in second.
Yeah, and he's now on the overtake system as well. He was, but he's just decided on the front straight to not bother using it. So he could have had the pass done very easily there at turn 1, but decided a bit of it and disabled the overtake system. So he's going to sit behind for a little bit longer, but he has been closing up that gap little bit by little over the last couple of laps. So I'd say there's going to be a pass incoming here at some point.
Well, he's got to try and find that pass first and foremost. Very aggressive by hand over the top of turn 5 and now over to turn 6 and 7. Then working through. This is 6 and off the exit. There's 7 and there is Kozhikov in the wall. So there's your first driver that's had a big old hit, and it's at turn 5 and that's the end of it. Tried to catch a tank slapper and ultimately ran out of road.
Yeah, just got a little bit too much over the curb, unsettled the rear end, and unfortunately that was all she wrote, straight into the wall, and that day is done.
We'll take a look here. This is turn 4, and then leading, of course, to the very tough turn 5 out here over the top. Just, oh, look at how the car just sat back down over the bumps and just basically could not find the grip once the tyres left the contact patch of the surface of asphalt.
It's unfortunately one of the things about the street circuits is that you make one little mistake and it's going to cost you dearly, as we've just seen there. So unfortunately that his race is over, and here's the view of the car behind it, and you just see the car getting very sideways, and then it got very close as well to Kardanov.
Kardanov would have been a very lucky lad to still be in this race and knows it with more understanding than anybody else. Hand and Sener continuing on their race for second, but look at the rate they are being dropped right now by Chris Rosenkrantz. They're already 3.5 seconds behind.
Yeah, 1 minute 4.5s for Rosenkrantz, whereas everybody else is doing sort of high 4s, low 5s. So he's pulling away in a very, very easy fashion, and he's got absolutely nothing to worry about. And that's a car in the wall.
Paniagua. That is going to be nasty, and that is nasty again at turn 5, which is the bogeyman's corner by the looks of it. And we've seen one in the outside wall there, Cam. This time, one in the inside wall.
Yeah, luckily he didn't end up in the outside wall, but spun the rears up, and the inside wall decided, I'll have a piece of that instead, thank you very much. And unfortunately that rear end copped a hit very nicely. Well, unfortunately I should say.
Well, again, the rear suspension taking a huge toll over the curb, and you have to be aggressive over that curb if you want to get the time out of the circuit. That's the key here, and now Lucas Hahn starts burning through here the battery, the deploy out there, the engine overtake mode that is out there. It's so difficult when you've got so many series that uses a battery system that this is just an engine map out there. Hahn closing on down, and now realising I will drive out of the exit, and it's going to understand that Sener is going to get a little bit of a better launch, and that is going to make life tougher here to the Acura corner of turn number 1. That Acura turn is there and sat and ready and waiting, and Lucas Hahn wanting to get close, but again doesn't have enough noisy pedal to get there.
Yeah, he's there or thereabouts, but just not quite there to be able to get the overtake done. And Sener also using the overtake system that time down the front straight, and Hand actually on the recharge at the moment. So he's actually going to have to think about this a little bit strategically, because he's going to have to use it at some point, but he's just got to make sure that he's not mistiming it. I know what he's trying to do, but he's just not working at the moment.
Miguel Facado here, I think, is having a really, really good race as we take a look here at your OTS system that sets itself in play. He started sick, he is sick, and he is the number 12 car in this session, which indicates to me that he's looking to gain a fair bit of iRacing and safety racing from this one. And I think he's going about this exactly the right way as he works himself into the turn 11 hairpin, harried and harassed the entire way through by Arsene Cardinal.
Yeah, he's getting a little bit of a hurry.
Well, that hurry-up's going to be key, and here comes Cardinal now to make this move, goes to the inside, looks to try and get this pass sorted, and gets it at the accurate turn, at turn 1. So Thiago Spencer will now be watching this one going, you know what, I want a piece of the Miguel Facado pie as well. I think we'll just try and get Cam back in a moment. That was close. Into the wall for Facado. Spencer now watches that and goes, yeah, I want to try and get in. I want to try and have myself a moment to go and get this into play. Lap 12 here of 30 and working on through to try and say, right, listen, this is what I'm all about. This is where I'm going to be. And here's the moves that I can manage. That's closer still right now from the likes of Siner and Han. But it is Thiago Spencer where the eyes are at the moment, trying to get as narrow as a run as possible. Coming out then of the right and trying to get this one all to work. So right as this sits itself and says, okay, here comes the chance, here comes the move, there goes Thiago Spencer. He gets on the noisy mode and says, thank you, I'll take that one as well. Facado now down to 8th place and looking behind, suddenly there's another car in the mirrors, and it is the disaster of all disasters out there, because that is Dennis Morenzov, who wants to try and find a way by, and he'll want to try and work his way up and say, look, I'm also in the business of making passes. Morenzov is +2 as far as it goes for today. Siner still holding that 2nd place, half a second over Lucas Hand, and for the first time today, they will have some lap traffic that they will have to navigate and deal with out there at the moment, and that traffic will be Dan Jiang, your driver, fighting Chris Rosenkrantz for 3rd in the championship. Nothing more demoralising for a race car driver that they find themselves a lap down on the rivals that they are scrapping with. Hand remaining close. Then there's Ben Ford, a little bit isolated, but Luis Kachan is trying to chase him down. Cardinal there, and now again, here goes Dennis Morenzov. At what point does Facado have to leave him the room? Oh my goodness, what a wiggle there from Dennis Morenzov. He had to really hold on to it, and anybody else would have been in the barriers on that. Too eager to put right foot down to floor, and ultimately he has to stay and remain behind Miguel Facado, the Portuguese driver, and hope for a way to go and get that back over in the 2nd half of the race, because we are already on to lap 14 here of 30, trying to get that movement sorted, and Morenzov really bouncing over the bumps there here at Long Beach. Now working over towards the right of turn number 9 out there and trying to get things sorted in front of the Seaside Suite. Now to 10 and 11. Can Morenzov find a search parties move into the right there of 11? No is the answer, so continue on even more is the key as they work through. Facado then still holding his ground, but again, Morenzov is going to look for this one. He's not going to have the battery to work this time, but he'll do it old-fashioned on pure slipstream out there. He wouldn't have the OTS system available, so that is a wonderful way of putting that pass into pay dirt and getting the move sorted. Slow lap from Lucas Hand on that last lap too, by the way. 105.4 has made a load of difference. So ultimately there's a look. Had to leave each other just enough room, and that could have been so much worse if that one had set itself into mark as they went. Silva now under pressure here after his involvement in lap 1. Then with Dan Jiang, this is with Benjamin David, who is mocking up there the old Force India livery. So I would understand Benjamin David to be a huge Adrian Sutil fan out there at the moment. And Cam, as we head over halfway, moves aplenty being found, but critically the battle now raging on for 11th place.
Yeah, there's a bit of a hectic battle there going on for the little minor positions between Kardanov and Orikstov and Fachado, but at the moment it's a little bit further back. Benjamin Forge, David, trying to look and see if he can find a way past Silver. He's all over the back of him at the moment, but just not quite able to get that little bit of extra drive off the corners by the looks of it.
Well, the Michael Schumacher helmet on as well for Benjamin David, so I guess he's mixing and matching out there at this point as he looks to chase down and try and find the move then through turn 6, over through 7 and over to the Yamava turn at turn 8, which I think underratedly might be the second most difficult corner on that track, with the exception, Cam, of turn 5.
Yeah, I would actually agree with that, to be honest, because of the fact that you've got that massive amount of inside curve, the quote-unquote curve that you've got to take to really commit to the corner, and it's very easy to overshoot and end up in that outside wall with how it narrows up. So you've got to be really, really careful and be really smart about how you set it up. Do you throw it in there and be really aggressive, or do you set up the run on the straight to see if you can maybe get a pass, or set up the run down the straight to maximise your exit speed? So it's one of those catch-22 corners, and you've certainly got to play for it. Oh, that's deep, and that's in the wall too.
It's brushed against the tyres for Philippe Silva, and Benjamin David comfortably dispatches the pass and says, I will take 11th place. And it's so easy to outbrake yourself at any racing circuit. You see it a lot more often at open circuits. When you're at Long Beach, even a couple metres is too much.
Yeah, it certainly is. He's just got away with that too. He's damaged the front wing ever so slightly on that right-hand side, as you can see, but luckily no other damage by the looks of it. So he's just got away with that, but he's going to have to, unfortunately, put the white flag up there, and he's going to potentially lose more positions here in the last couple of laps.
Lucas Hand is not sitting back idly. Fastest lap, 104.2 on that last go around, a 10th quicker than even your race leader Chris Rosenkrantz. So Hand's got pace to burn. He's just got to lock in, find himself in the rhythm, and know that with 13 laps to go, he's got a way of getting back to Roy Ansonair there in the number 2 car in second position. It's a German 1-2, Canadian in third, Brit in fourth, and Brazilian in fifth as they work into the Yamava turn once again. Again, seeing the sparks rush off of that wall there. They are absolutely going to the limit of limits around each and every corner, and you have to at a street circuit. It's the Ayrton Senna flow state mode that you've got to get into.
Yeah, absolutely, and when you're in the situation that Ryan is in, you've really got to push hard with someone like Lucas Hand steering down your rear end, looking to try and get close enough to make a pass on you. So you've got to really push it to the maximum here to make sure you're using all the track and some extra maybe to utilise as much as you can, and also you get the most out of the car too.
Oh, we've just had a spin. It was Victor Awad in the number 9, and I'd like you to hazard a guess at which corner it was, Cam.
I'm going to go ahead and say it was turn 5 probably.
Oh, look at that. Ding, ding, ding. Look who's won the pony. It's Cam Dance. Turn 5. Here we go. Victor Awad trying to get over the curb, and it just doesn't settle.
No, definitely didn't see it. He's done pretty good though to avoid the walls and everything, so you'll get 10 points for the 360, that's for sure.
Yeah, but those 10 points aren't championship points, they're pity points out there at this moment in time, so that makes life very tough. Good battle going on here as they work on through between Miguel Picado and now Valerio, for goodness, Tavares, who's gone through.
Yeah,
this will be the hairpin cap. And,
that's very deep, and that was almost the wall. Luckily he managed to pull it up, barely, but that could have very quickly turned unfortunate and ended up with a race day done.
Now, traffic here is going to play a huge factor now for Lucas Hand. He's caught back up here to Roy Ansonair, but the key will be, well, who's directly in front? Dan Jiang. Jiang's got to find a way to cleanly let these drivers go as lap traffic, but in iRacing, remember, blue flags are advisory and not mandatory, so they're GT spec blue flags that are given, so he doesn't have to give it away, but the often gentleman's agreement that you get in open formula, Cam, is you play to open formula, you let them go.
Yeah, he's probably gonna wait till they're a little bit close before he lets them go, but we'll wait and see. And I imagine obviously Jiang being sort of the regular in these Super Formula cars as well, with the likes of Lucas Hand and a couple of others behind him, he'll be pretty gentlemanly about it, I imagine. So won't be doing anything too silly, I imagine, and then we'll let them go in short time, I think.
Rosenkrantz with the fastest lap now does himself a 1:04 flat, but Hand sees Senair there in front. Will go back here to Benjamin David, and now behind him he's through on Miguel Picardo, so another place gone for Miguel. This time he will look around. He's given the place up into turn 9, so there's another move that's gone by and it's made life even tougher. And Picardo, I think, is looking at this going, I'd like one finish, please.
Yeah, he certainly is, but I'd say he will be wanting to at least get this done and not have to worry too much about it. It's got maybe a little bit of front wing damage as well on that left-hand side, so you're going to be struggling to get any sort of pace out of that machine at the moment, but he's doing all right out there at the moment.
Yeah, there is a crunkled left end plate out there, and that is making life tough for Picardo. Lights blinking here for Lucas Hand as he tries to find a way by Royan Senair. Closes down that gap, but not enough into turn 1. How's the drive off the exit of Acura into O'Reilly's? Not there. Bubba Gump Fountain Club now finds itself in play to 3 and 4, and now Jiang sits himself there just directly in front. Turn 5, how much dirty air is affecting Royan Senair's driving at the moment? This is tough.
Yeah, it certainly is tough at the moment, and Lucas Hand is trying to get a move on, but he's just stuck almost in sort of a little bit of a bubble where he's quick, but he's not quick enough. And you can see there he closed the gap on the front straight with the overtake system, but just didn't get close enough to use it to its full potential to get the overtake done. So he's going to have to sit once again for another lap stuck behind Senair here, and he's going to maybe look at the hairpin. Not quite. He's going to set up a run though, and he might get the drive off the corner. Not quite.
Needs it, and Royan Senair senses it and gets onto the OTS mode to try and break away, use the extra horsepower that's available. Slipstream down Jiang, who pulls over to one side, lets them both go. That was a crucial defense ploy being used by Royan Senair, and that's what OTS, I think, is so good for. It's an offensive weapon and a defensive weapon. Spencer, fastest lap.
Yeah, absolutely right, and he's used it to great effect here in a defense sense, because Lucas Hand used it the previous lap, and then he used it the following lap to make sure that Lucas Hand couldn't potentially get a pass done, and he could just build a little bit of a gap buffer as well to Lucas Hand. So it's a bit of a back and forward, and now the Dragon's Tail starting down the back straight with the fact that the draft's kicking in. So, and he's also on the overtake system is Lucas Hand. So is it going to happen this time or is it not? It's we'll have to wait and see, but he's utilizing that overtake system in almost the wrong places, but also at the right points.
Well, I think this is going to be a big burn to try and get this pass. It's an all-or-nothing overtake that he needs. And look, he's still on it. I've just seen a car come back to pit, which is Philip Lucas. He's in trouble. We're looking at it at the moment because Lucas Hand moves to the inside. This for second position. Oh, that's a lovely use of OTS to get that done. Must make, had to get that done. How much, though, has that cost him as he now pushes on forward?
Yeah, we'll see if Senair can come back at him on the next lap with the overtake substitute. Pretty much the exact same thing, but here's the replay, and off into that tyre barrier. Very easy to do, just broke a little bit too late, and unfortunately that race is over.
Crunch went the front right suspension that caved and crumpled and ultimately said, ain't gonna happen. Luis Kachan here in this number 3 car, 5th place, looking for 4th on Ben Ford, who's slowly been reeled in. Into the pit comes Philippe Silva. He's out. He's got 3 wheels on his wagon, exactly the same way as what we saw with Philip Lucas.
Yeah, he's locked. He's actually kind of done what he did a little bit earlier, and he's done it worse and ended up losing that right front. So unfortunately, that's an impact to that tyre bundle and has claimed another victim.
It has, and in the meanwhile, Hand has lost the place. Royan Senair is back through into second. He has sent an almighty move down at turn 1 at the Acura turn to get that sorted, and so now they're starting to play leapfrog with each other.
Yeah, they certainly are. I did think this was going to happen, and I did say it was probably going to happen. So you can see there on the overtake system is Senior in the backdrop with that light blinking away, and he's going to get the draft as well for good measure. And here it comes, here it comes. The Shador's music is on, straight up the inside, job done.
It was a lovely pass. It was an anything you can do, I can do it better move out there for Royan Senet, who does not want to relinquish this second position. He knows how important it is to stay in second. Lucas Hand is looking for critical championship points, and he'll be looking to get as many as he can. Rosenkrantz again with the fastest lap, and he's 7 seconds there as well. So I think he's looking around at that thinking, yeah, quite. Now look around. Here comes another send back down at the accurate turn. Lucas Hand gets another one back.
Back spy on the inside nicely. These two really duking it out in these last couple of laps at the moment, but just want to pay attention to this little back that's going on a little bit further back. Kachan, Kardanov and Bina Ford all battling for the final spot inside the top 5.
Oh,
and there's another car on the wall.
That's Dan Jiang, and that pretty much sums up the day for him there through turn 5 on his own. And that one was huge because that took 2 tyres. It ripped it off, first with the tyre bundle and secondly with the concrete.
Yeah, pretty big impact for Jiang, unfortunately. So that day is done, and as you said, puts a dampener on pretty much what's been a terrible day for him, and not great for his championship as well, in terms of the fact that he's third and very close with Rosenkrantz. So Rosenkrantz going to be sailing away with a nice clump of points in hand, and unfortunately Dan Jean's going to be walking away with absolutely 0. So that day is done. That, I wouldn't say third place is done in the championship, but probably is at this stage. But Kachan is all over the back of Ben Ford here, and he's really looking racy.
Top of your screen, it is the race on for second and third. Bottom of your screen, for fourth, for fifth, and for sixth out there, because Arsene Kardanov is also there, and that will see him almost out there of the racing battle that's on. What a save there by Arsene. He had to get absolute 4 wheels of rotation. A look at the Cosworth steering wheel there of Louis Kachan.
Yeah, he got very crossed up. Luckily managed to hold on to it. Turn 5 didn't claim a victim this time, but oh man, that could have been so much closer to being a day done.
That could have been everything in a heartbeat. Rosenkrantz right now just setting fastest lap after fastest lap, trying to get the end of this race sorted. A 3.5 then with it. Kardanov replay. This is what you have to try and be careful of. Had to be so switched on to the car's reactions out there, and you almost have to preempt those sorts of incidents, Cam.
Yeah, you're almost through those sort of corners, you're almost preempting what the car's going to do. You're almost tensing up to the point where you're stressing yourself out, knowing the car could potentially do it, and it's not going to do it, but it might do it, but you have to be ready for it. So you really got to just hold on to it and just make sure you're going to be aware that it's going to happen, and you just have to be ready to catch the snap if it does happen like that.
Yeah, light blinking being used right now by your leader, Chris Rosenkrantz, who knows how good he needs to be. Look at Royan Senet all over Lucas Hand, trying to find a way here, and is there an angle? Goes to the outside, now he's going to try and get the run off the exit, but does he almost hoist himself upon his own spear, trying to get that run through the hairpin there. Senet's dropped a lot of time if he wants to make a pass over at Acura, but he is driving this down. Hand's not got anything, he's got it available, it's being used there. You can tell that OTS to the outside. Oh my goodness, what a swing! Oh, around the outside, he's gone over the top, and in the wall is Lucas Hand. He's kept it on the circuit, but my oh my, he could have very easily have vaulted Royan Senet.
Yeah, that was nearly going to end in tears. I thought it ended in tears for Lucas Hand, and he's going to come on back by with the overtake system on at the moment. So I wonder if that was maybe a redress. Hard to tell, but I do wonder if Sener's got damage here as well.
I think that might be Sener with damage. He's definitely not looking 100% at the moment, and he would have been vaulted over the top of, and he'll be very alert now to what is going on. There is scraping to the rear wing out there, the left rear strut I think is going to be the key to look at then as that goes. So here was the pass as we now start the final lap of the race. So the pass there is perfect, gets done, but he runs himself out of road. There is damage to the rear strut there that has now certainly hampered Royan Sener's ability to carry the same pace. He'll now be limping, hoping to stay ahead of Kachan and Ford. And now as well, worth noting, he's got the black and orange mechanical flag, so he's got to bring it home. He doesn't have to serve it this late in the race. Kachan there, Kardanov, and the likes of Ben Ford. Sener is desperate to get home in third. This is a limp for the podium, and will he have enough gap? He's still there at what is going to be 1.3 seconds as Chris Rosenkrantz will move his way through the final corner. This one wasn't in doubt. He just absolutely left him for toffee. Chris Rosenkrantz will win at Long Beach and will do so as a canter. Lucas Hand is second, but watch for third. Because now Sener is going to need drive off of this exit. Can he even get it through the corner? It's a drag race now, and he's going to have to hope to get through the gears. I think he's going to be safe, and he is.
Yeah, that gap was closing. I did think that Benford might have got there, but not quite in the end, unfortunately. Did have a little bit of left hand down, did Sener as well, so he was clearly very, very damaged and limping home, but barely held on in the end.
There's Valerio Fagundes Tavares and Benjamin David. David almost getting close enough for one more. The lonely figure of Miguel Facado coming across to the line. And a good battle then at the back. The last cars on the leading lap, Artur Kazimierski and Robin Kronecki then having a good old tussle, but it is the Pole Kazimierski who is going to get that one in regards to the Czechian Robin Kronecki there. So let's get confirmation of result then on your screen, because Chris Rosenkrantz has won this race in a dominating 32 minutes and 16 seconds and wins by 14 seconds over Lucas Hand. Royan Sener ends up third with Ben Ford and Luis Kachan fourth and fifth. Sener finishing with a meatball flag, having to limp the car home. Arsen Kardanov is sixth ahead of Thiago Spencer, with eighth belonging to Denis Morentsov, with Valerio Fagundes Tavares ninth, and Benjamin David rounding out your top 10. In 11th would be Miguel Facado, who ultimately would start falling back through the mid part of the race, ahead of Artur Kazimierski and Robin Kronecki, making up the top 13. A lap down for Victor Awad and everyone else retirees. Dan Jiang, Philippe Silva, Lucas out there. You got Pablo Paniagua, Makita Kozhikov, then as well, your last retiree of the day. Well, we love amazing racing like this, but it's also time to pay the bills, because this show is brought to you courtesy of Sync Mesh, as well as Pimax, and on top of that, Scorpio Esports. This show is made possible by the people of Get Good and, of course, with Grid Finder as well. We couldn't have got this show to you without the good help of Full Push Sim Gear, Canada's ultimate destination for elite gear. From precision pedals to professional turnkey rigs, we fuel your obsession. Pure performance, expert support, push harder, drive faster. This show is here courtesy of Traction.gg. If you're enjoying the virtual action and want to understand more about the goings-on within sim racing, visit the Traction.gg website daily for the latest platform updates, news, and interviews. Stay up to speed with the industry, developers, and the latest equipment. That's Traction.gg, where you can also sign up for their weekly newsletter. You've then got the likes of Sim Racing Nation, the community for sim racing enthusiasts and motorsports professionals from around the world. They focus on fostering competitive racing and an environment for drivers of all skill levels. You then got the good folks at Sim Gaming Expo, which will be taking itself through September 18th through 20th in Schaumburg, Illinois, North America's only event celebrating every genre of simulation gaming under one roof. Get your tickets at simgamingexpo.com. This show is brought to you thanks to TDI 99, which you can level up through with 15 years of racing grit. TDI delivers pro tips, quick laps, and the hard truths that F1 won't discuss. You can follow TDI99 on YouTube today. You can also say thank you very much to Tamash Setups. Take your iRacing setups to the next level with Tamash Setups. Get race-winning, well-reviewed setups for Super Formula and Super Formula Lights today. Head on over to tamashsetups.com or search for Tamash Setups on Patreon. And also a big thanks to the Into the Apex podcast, which follows the world of sim racing as if it's in a Discord on a Friday night or around the track campfire. You can see more at intotheapex.com. Cam, what an incredible run that is out there overall. And I believe that is going to tell you all you need to know.
Yeah, it certainly is. That was a very, very hectic race, and one that you can't write, I don't think so. It's been a heck of a show, and once again, the street circuit's putting it on as per the usual.
It very much is. We're going to get the chance then to bring in what we believe is Lucas Hand here with us at the moment. Lucas, brilliant qualifying first and foremost, put the pieces together out there, but the start, I think, was the make or break, I think, for your race.
Yeah, it was, Long Beach is obviously a super, super difficult track to overtake at, and yeah, so a bit of a bottled start for me. Most of these guys use dual clutches, but I'm stuck with a lousy clutch pedal on my pedals. I don't have the dual clutches, so, it's the best I can do. 9 out of 10 times it goes, about as good as the other guys, but, that 1 out of 10 times, it's a bit rougher compared to the other guys, so... It was, it is what it is, but I think I was able to, fight back. I think Chris had a bit more pace than everybody here today. And so it was just down to me and Rojan. And yeah.
Critically for you, you had that big battle with Roy Ansonair there and had to try and go on forward and say, look, this is how I've got to try and get this pass done. I've got to trade with you lap after lap after lap. Until what happened with a handful of laps to go. Just talk us through your ability of jumping up over the back of him.
Yeah, so, I mean, from my POV in the cockpit, I think, he'd launched around the outside, and I was kind of, just a bit disappointed that he was probably going to get the pass done. But, it all happened so fast during the cockpit. I don't really, know what happened from the outcam POV. I haven't, been able to look at the replay, but I think there was enough room on the outside. I'm not sure, what really happened there. So I'll have to go back and look at it after, the media pen, and we'll have a talk afterwards. But yeah, I mean, I think me and Rojan, he's a fun driver, and I really like racing with him. And it was a really clean battle. It was really hard to get up close to him. So I had to try some alternate push to pass strategies, using it down the back straight, and then I'm trying to get it down the front straight as well. So using a lot of that push to pass to try to get close, and eventually it worked. And I think, yeah, we did trade positions a few times, which I didn't really want to do. I just forgot to defend the inside, so that wasn't ideal, but I was able to get it back. So yeah, no, it was a really fun battle.
Right, let's talk next week. One final round for you, Lucas, and it's Interlagos. It's for me personally, I always think it should be a championship finale. It's a great track to battle at. How are you looking to gear yourself up for that championship finale and the amazing battling that is due to come over there?
Well, I think Kevin and Tim will be back. JT won't be back, but Kevin and Tim will be back, and so it will be really fun watching them. I don't think I'll have the pace to be up with those guys, and Chris as well, because they've been in another level all this season, and they've put in so much time and effort, and those guys deserve every praise they get with the amount of skill that they possess in these cars. And so it'll be really fun watching. I'll do my best to try to practice a lot and get up to those guys, but it'll be a race for me where I'm just with the people that I usually with and try to beat the guys in like the upper midfield, and hopefully not spin out or do anything like I've been doing for most of the season. So it will be very, very interesting, and I'm really looking forward to Brazil.
Well, go enjoy yourself, and what a good result it was for you. Second place for Lucas Hand and his first big points of the season out there. Here is where our final round sets itself out. The Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache, then over at Interlagos. You can catch that June 6th at 8:30 GMT. And Cam, it's a great all-round circuit. It does everything so well.
Yeah, it absolutely does. We've seen plenty of great racing here. I've had plenty of good battles, especially in open wheelers here, and it's a fantastic circuit always. So it's going to be one heck of a show, and it's looking like we're going to crown a champion that's going to be more than deserving, whoever it may be.
Well, the only place you can catch that is here with us, so make sure that you stick around and find a way into some amazing action coming up from the team here who's brought this to you, from Cam Dance, from Jay Kennedy. My name's Jake Sperry. While the top two of Timothy Fries-Larson and Kevin Foster were not here to guarantee that there'd be a fight for the championship, there are still battles that had to be hard fought for and put into place. And critically, if you don't set a qualifying time, expect your race to be difficult from the back. It was a case of being near the front, right place, right time, and then just dominate from that point onwards. Kevin Foster will look around and see that his next battleground is going to be with Chris Rosenkrantz in the next few months and years, because he is lightning fast and he's only getting better with each and every single race.